And Chipotle revenue was up nearly 8%. Digital sales jumped in March as well. It comes as the restaurant chain agrees to pay a $25 million fine to settle charges involving food safety violations back in 2015. The CEO, Brian Niccol, is with me. He joins me from Newport Beach in California. Brian, thank you, sir. It is appreciated that you take time in business. Look, I need to understand. We'll deal with the previous incident. Your numbers so far, bearing in mind everything is shut down and only takeaway or delivery in some cases, these accounts these numbers don't really take full effect of COVID. What can you tell us about what you expect the later numbers to look like?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. As we shared in our release just yesterday, in January and February, before the COVID crisis, our business was running up 14% same-store sales growth. And then in March, obviously, as we had to close our dining rooms and, consumers were basically staying at home, we saw our business take a step back, and really the low point was down 35%. And then what we've most recently seen as we've gotten into April, frankly, the most recent couple weeks in April, it's improved kind of week to week. And most recently, we were down 18%, adjusting for the Easter holiday. So, it really hit bottom around negative 35. It's hard for me to say that I'm excited about the fact that we're at negative 18%, but it's definitely an improvement. And I think, as economies start to open and communities start to open and people get back to work, I'm optimistic that we'll get to the other side of this, and our performance will look more like what it did before we had the incident. But it's going to be a process, and it's going to take some time for us to get there.
What will be your guiding light? Obviously, safety of your staff, safety of your customers. So you can take that as given. But where you have those states like Georgia looking to open up sooner and arguably not even meeting the president's own guidelines, what will you do in those situations?
Yeah, look, I think this is really a combination of making sure that you have the best available information so that, to your point, we're able to open in a way where it's clearly safe and healthy for our employees and our customers. And, it's a combination, frankly. We're very fortunate that we have a lot of wellness practices in place. We have benefits around our employees so that there's no incentive to work not feeling, 100%. And then obviously we can do a lot of things to ensure that the experience is one that provides customers confidence that it's a healthy environment to have our delicious food. It's going to require, though, we have a person, she leads our food safety and wellness program. She's in close contact with the CDC. We'll be in close contact with, obviously, the state officials, all the way down to the local officials, because I do think this is going to be a store-by-store process for us, so that each of our restaurants are taking into account what's happening in that local community.
Right. Look, I don't want to unduly flatter you. We don't necessarily do that on this program. But the one thing I've been impressed about is if I look at your share price. Now, you had the most dreadful health scandal 5 years ago, which you've bounced back from with new policies and provisions and all that. Your share price rocketed it up. It then went down along with everybody else. But as the graph on the screen shows, you're virtually back to where you were when your restaurants pretty much are still closed. I don't understand, Brian. What are you doing?
Well, look, what I can tell you is we are very much focused on a couple things. We want to make sure that the restaurants that are open are running in a safe environment, a healthy environment. And then we've been very fortunate that over the last couple of years, we've invested tremendously in food safety, wellness programs, and a digital platform. And, I think both of those things are proving to really help us navigate this crisis at hand. And, our digital business is way up. And, both order ahead as well as our delivery business. And we've seen that turn into a lot more customers joining our rewards program, which is really an engine behind our digital business. And I believe when we get to the other side of this, that digital business is going to be sticky, and it will be a place that we can build from as we bring back our dine-in business. And I think people share that sentiment that our digital business is really a strong asset for us right now, and then also in the future. And then obviously our employees are arguably the most important piece of this company. They live our culture. They bring our values to life. They're the ones that provide the food with integrity for everybody every day. So if we can continue to invest in them through this whole process, which fortunately we've been able to because of the health of the company, I think we're just going to get to a better place on the other side of this. But it's going to be a bumpy ride while we get there. But I'm very confident in our people, our brand, and ultimately our financial position to get through this.
Brian, please come back and talk more about this. Come and join me again on the program where we can discuss this. And hopefully in better times, we'll even do the interview in a Chipotle where we could be face to face, and I'll pick up the bill. Good. Thank you, Brian.